Welcome to a new episode of It's Been 2 Weeks. It's been 2 weeks. John.
Hello, Will. How are you?
It's fucking hot, dude. I'm not having a fun time with this right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the inadequate accommodations.
That's fine. So if you hear, there might be some fans in the background, and that's because it's that hot, and the studio does not have a centralized air conditioning.
Because it's not a studio, it's a bedroom.
But
and it's running a PC, so that's gonna add to the heat.
Bro, this is actually that's something that's been, because where I live, we don't have AC. We run on fans, and I game, so that causes the processor's getting hot, and then also like the graphics card is getting hot, and so the fans are constantly running and just fucking blowing out the hot air, and it gets immensely hot in there, and I can't even during the day I cannot open up the windows to let any cool air in, because arguably the temperature inside the home is, during the peak time where it's hot, is cooler than the temperature outside. And so then one of the things that irritates me is when people go out or they open up the door, it's like, stop doing that, because you're letting the cold air out. You're fucking letting the hot air in. And then one time my dad is like, damn, all you do is fucking complain. It's like, because we don't have AC, dog. The cool temperature we have in our house right now, or in our fucking apartment, is like a fucking finite resource. And every time you open up the fucking door or open up a window, you're letting that shit out. It's escaping for no fucking reason. And so yeah. But this whole past week has been fucking hot.
So at night, do you guys open the windows or anything?
That's the only time that I do, because
let the cool, let all the hot shit out, let the cool in, and then in the morning, first thing in the morning, early in the morning, just close everything again.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I do, and that's how I maintain the temperature cool during the day inside the house, because oddly enough, despite the fact that there's no insulation in the place, the cool air the cooler temperature stays in. I think it also has to do with the fact that because there are big buildings that kind of give us cover and shade, and so it kind of keeps it a little bit cool for us. But when it comes to when sundown, that's when the sun is actually fucking hitting us, hitting hard. So yeah, it's just one of those things. And then maybe it's because my parents, both of them, didn't fucking complete school, or just maybe it wasn't taught to them in school there's science. But it's just come on, dude. It's just I feel like it's common sense at this point. The transfer of heat, if you feel it's hot outside and it's cool inside, yeah, it probably means because it's the temperature in there is you don't leave a fucking refrigerator open for a reason.
Yeah,
And it's the same concept. At least that's what I think about. That's the way that I see it. But how have you been handling this whole fucking past week? Has been shit, dude.
Well, I never grew up with AC.
Uh-huh.
So I'm used to just living off of fans and shit like that, and open windows. And now doing what I do, I'm outside, digging trenches and shit.
Yeah.
So it's just, after a while, once you get past a certain temperature, hot's just hot. You don't feel it. You know what I mean? After it gets to a point where 97 or whatever starts feeling 110. When even the couple times it does pass 100, it's just, your body's just well, it's just hot.
It's just hot. There's nothing you can do about it.
And you do kind of acclimate after a while, but as long as you just keep drinking water, that's all you really can do.
Yeah. I think the time where it starts gradually getting hotter from say from 70s to 90s, or let's say from the 80s to the 90s, and you're feeling that certain it starts feeling hotter, and then plus you're working, you're doing your shit, your body temperature is rising as well. It just kind of it becomes a fucking sensory overload at times. But then once you reach that peak, it's keep drinking water, or otherwise you're gonna collapse.
You're gonna
die. But
and we were still in winter too during all this.
Is it winter or is it spring?
Well, it's spring now, but when this first started, it was still technically winter.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I've always said this before. I've said it to people who don't live in California. California has essentially what is 3 fucking seasons. You have your very chill fall, because there's really no winter here, and then you have summer 1 and summer 2.
So our winter is small spring.
Yeah.
Then our winter is extra small spring. Our fall is small spring.
Yeah.
Our spring is medium summer, and it jumps from medium summer to extra large summer.
Yeah, pretty much. And unless you're living in like the coast, then you're not.
Yeah.
You're fucking dying because like.
And in between, there's also a fire season.
Yeah, fire season. So like, which do you think this year we're going to be having like a very? Because I mean, it rained a lot.
It did, but that just means stuff grows and blooms and sprouts. More fuel. I don't know what's burned in the past and what's left to burn. That's what it just boils down to. What's there to burn?
Because like my thought is like it's bloomed and like from here to say fucking like, or let's just say from last week until what is it, June, when summer finally starts. Like there's still a little bit of time. There's like what 2-3 months left over.
Yeah.
So like I don't think it'll be that drastic of a heat to dry all of that up, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I think you underestimate the power of the sun, my friend.
You know what? Yeah, you might be right on that. You might be right.
The only saving grace is we're technically out of the drought.
Yeah.
But we'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, that's another thing too. God damn it. Why did we create a fucking city in the desert, you know?
Gold.
Oh yeah, that was a gold rush, huh? That's the reason why. Going to California way.
Yeah, basically.
That was pretty much it. All right. I don't want to, quite frankly, I don't feel like there's anything notable as far as like the world stage going on right now, for me at least, to pay attention to. The only thing that I can give is an update on the war, which is like now run $26 billion. It is estimated that we spend $1 billion a day to fund this war. American casualties has gone up from 6 to, I believe, 12 or 13.
I was gonna say, I want to say it was like 13 or something like
13 to something around, somewhere around there. Casualties elsewhere has grown substantially as well. So it's a shit show. It's not going really that well for us. We're spending a lot of money. I believe the Pentagon has asked for $100 billion just to continue funding this.
I thought it was 2.
Something like that. It was either 100 or 2. But the hypocrisy, or not even the hypocrisy, just more so like the only thing that I wanted to point out is that Congress found it too expensive to fund 2 years of like extension credits for the American healthcare system. But for the war, anything's possible. They'll find the money for it. So I guess the only note that I want to leave off here for you guys to kind of think about is, remember when Bernie Sanders was running for Medicare for All, and the first question they would ask him was, how are you going to pay for it? There's a war going on. How are we going to pay for it? Where's that question when it comes to the war? And why is all of the media not really anti-war, just kind of like trying to do at best what the public would consider to be accurate reporting, but no opinion in regards to whether it's okay or not, or anything of that sort. So I'm gonna leave it off as that. I don't know if you want to add into it anything else to it.
The only thing I'll add, and this isn't like new, this was said, I think, kind of at the beginning, towards the beginning of the war when it first popped off. That dude Hedgeseth, he kept using terminologies like, he kept calling it a holy war, right?
Something like that.
And I'm like, bro, did we just declare jihad on Iran?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what a holy war is, right? Like a jihad, like. Are they trying to bring about the end times and shit? Is that what's going on?
That's the only thing I can think about, maybe. Because I mean, like, what else would you call it?
Like, that's some like biblical Armageddon shit, bro. Is what they're like.
Christianity
inciting.
is an apocalyptic cult, dude.
Well, it's not even just, remember, it's those evil Zionists are part of it too.
No, I know, but I mean, that's just something like, because I mean, think about it. Like,
I'm just saying because they're not Christians.
Well, I mean, yeah.
They killed Jesus.
Like, the whole basis of the Christian faith is, end times are coming, and you need to make sure that you're in good standing with God, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. There's never anything about we need to make society better for us. It's or just in a long stretch of time, or for the end of until the end of whatever the fuck. Like, there is no thoughts of a future where we can live in this world and just be kind people. It's more so, you have to be good. You have to be kind. You have to follow these morals, because if you don't, you're not going to heaven, and the end is coming soon. So that's the repetitive like words that are said in Christian, I believe, in the New Testament. You know, So to me, it's just like apocalyptic like cult. Like that's what it is. There's no focus on actually being good, or it's all kind of like for your own benefit, not even for the benefit of overall society or
It's
anything.
done out of fear.
Yeah, it's out of fear. So it's like, yeah. But this whole, I mean, because I believe that there are certain like sects of Christians that believe that Israel does need to survive and exist in order for it to bring the apocalypse, and so that everyone can be raptured. And them suckers believe that they're actually going to get raptured, despite the fact that they're the ones who are, doing all this fucking crazy shit where they're diddling children and fucking persecuting people just because of some stupid like abortion or something like that. Stupid shit. But yeah, I don't know. That's as much as I'll say about that.
Oh, I just thought it was kind of cool that America declared jihad.
When are we gonna be is this gonna be Dune?
I'm gonna start walking all funny.
It's gonna be Dune.
Well, dude, when I'm out there in the dirt, in the trenches and shit, going over the dirt mountains, I want to do that with that walk and shit.
The sand. What do
yeah, dude.
it?
And whenever the fucking the excavators and shit are moving and rumbling, I'm just gonna stop and shit, pretend they're the sandworms.
Sandworms. Oh God. All right. Okay, we're gonna move on.
Real quick, it kind of works because everyone out there is like their face is wrapped up for sunburns.
Yeah.
And so like we have like fucking bandanas tight, so we have like flowing shit like coming from our hard hats and all that shit. It works out, dude. Hell yeah.
I wouldn't be. You know what? On the thought of that, I wouldn't be surprised if at one point in the near future, some technology similar to sand suits ends up coming up, and they'll start like giving it to people.
That'd be dope, though.
Just because they want to keep production up.
Yeah, that'd still be kind of cool, though.
It's not even about survival. It's just production, dude. Money needs to be made. But yeah, moving on. I wanted to make the bulk of this episode about something that's just recently come up. It came out, I believe, 3 days ago, where the New York Times reported there was an expose done on Cesar Chavez, where it's been said that he groomed and sexually assaulted children. And
who hasn't at this point?
Huh?
Who hasn't at this point?
At this point, yeah. Like, but it's been reported. This was here. Let me just read a summarization that I did.
Real quick. I don't know if it was the last episode we did or the one before that. I was like, if you look hard enough at people, they all got some shit going on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Actually, I was just listening to that episode on the way here, and we were talking about how like MLK, cheating on his wife and all this other stuff, and like just like us coming to the realization it's like people are humans and they're going to end up doing some
human things.
Things. But in this situation, I'm like, this is kind of like a hard line where you can't really cross it, But let me go to the summarization that I did. So, New York Times, Cesar Chavez, a civil rights icon, is accused of abusing girls for years. Cesar Chavez, revered for his work to improve American farm workers' wages and living conditions, has been accused of grooming and sexually assaulting children in an expose published by the New York Times. The New York Times has interviewed several women, as well as more than 60 people, including Cesar Chavez's top aides and relatives. The reporters reviewed hundreds of pages of union records, confidential emails, photographs, as well as other material. Among the children, Dolores Huerta, who co-founded the UFW, helped organize the Delano grape strike, and created the famous Si se puede slogan, came forward with 2 instances where Chavez sexually assaulted her, resulting in 2 pregnancies she kept hidden. It is reported that only a handful of people know about the things Chavez has done.
Do you think it was just a miscommunication and Chavez understood the si se puede as consent?
Oh, God. This is fucked up, dog.
You laughed, so I don't feel bad.
I did, but goddamn. Like, I don't, you know what?
That's a joke. Don't even entertain it. Don't enable me. Don't do this, Gamora.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. So, the overall question that I want to ask you, and also anybody who's listening to this, given the influence that Chavez has had on the movement and the way that he has been revered among Latinos and Latinas, should we move the focus that we put on Chavez to something else?
Yeah, why not? I mean, fair play, right? Like everyone wants action against, current people that have allegations and shit like that.
Right.
So why not? I mean, there isn't a statute of limitations on this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I know the dude's dead, and if the only thing you can go after is like his legacy, then why not?
The other thing too that I read, it was a separate article. Or it's not even. I didn't read the whole article itself. I read a little bit of what you call it. I read the headline that basically the UFW could potentially have lawsuits against them because there is in some way, not necessarily hardcore proof, but there is inclination that members of the UFW knew that Chavez was doing this sort of stuff. And if that's the case, then the people suing have to prove
accessories and shit like that. Yeah.
And so the fucked up part about this whole situation is the fact that this guy, if people knew that this guy was doing this stuff and they allowed it to happen, it puts a stain on the work that was done through the UFW, and the protections that were, essentially gotten for farm workers and stuff like that. And so my dilemma of this is like, I don't think you can completely remove him out of it. You get me? Like you can't deny that he did some good. You get me? But at the same time, we can't whitewash his legacy and pretend like this didn't happen. You get me?
No, I don't think you necessarily have to. Like, you could be like, just make him a footnote with a little asterisk and be like, this is what this dude did, but it later came out that this is the other shit he did. So we'll recognize, what he did for rights for farm workers and all that shit. But
Right.
after that, that's it.
That's beyond it.
There's do not celebrate the man.
Yeah,
anymore.
Absolutely,
that's it.
Absolutely. Like I don't think he should be celebrated. I think in a perfect world, I would say just remove any sort of like imaging that we have outside that's celebrating him. I mean, here in LA, we have like a street named after him. There's probably a couple of fucking elementary schools that are named after him. I'm pretty sure there's libraries as well.
Well, we have a day after him. Like,
we have a day after him.
Well, we had.
Well, now I think California's changing it to Farmers Day or something like that. And this might be a little controversial for some people, but I feel like if we are going to remove if there is a push to remove his name from a lot of like facilities and, streets and all that stuff, I would say replace all of the stuff that has his name with fucking Dolores Huerta's name. Cause she is just equally as influential as he was, and to think, I know this might be controversial for some people, but quite frankly, like to imagine being a woman who just got fucking raped by this guy and you still had the mental fortitude to stand by him and continue just for the movement.
Well, I think that's a very human thing, though. It's like people are willing to
put up with shit.
Yeah. And I don't mean to take it there, but like people are willing to fucking give Trump a pass for being in the files and shit because they like certain things he's doing. Again, it's also a very human thing to do where some people will justify certain ends to get to a certain means. You know what I mean? They'll allow a crazy amount of just shenanigans to go on for, in some cases, like with the Chavez thing, the greater good, and then in other cases, just for a personal benefit. Right. So it's just, it doesn't surprise me. Like, yeah, it sucks, but it doesn't, in no way is it like, it's shocking to hear this, but it's not shocking to hear that people were aware of it and they turned a blind eye in order to further the cause. For the cause, yeah. And I mean, that's another thing too that I see, because like, I mean, like it's two bad situations, and I don't think it was worth it. You get me? To allow him to do something like that for what ultimately we ended up getting, because I mean, one way it's like Cap says, we don't trade a life for another kind of thing. So, so in a sense, I feel that way about it. But at the same time, it's like, fuck, where would we be if it wasn't for that happening? You get me? And I just bought the book too, because I remember reading the story like, at this point, it's over 10 years ago. And it kind of always stuck with me, and I can't remember the author. But the basic, like, gist of the story is there's a utopia. And everything's great. Like, it's a literal utopia. Everything's perfect and but in this utopia, there's this one room. It's a dark room. And in this room, there's a child. And he's kept locked away, chained up. He's maltreated. Right. that child takes on all the pain and suffering of that
utopia.
Yeah, of that utopia. That's how they keep it running. And it's one of those things where it's like with those girls, they were the thing keeping that thing running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there always has to be suffering. You know what I mean? It's just to the extent, but it's like at what cost? You know what I mean? Like, what are you willing to sacrifice for your end goal or your utopia? You know what I mean? Like shit like that's never clean.
Yeah.
And like you said, is like, was it worth it at the end of the day?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
And I feel like you would get a lot of pushback by saying like it wasn't worth it. Because not to downplay any individual's experience or trauma or anything, but like in the grand scheme of things, the pros do kind of outweigh the cons. Not kind of, they do outweigh the cons. If you really look at it.
If you take a step back, yes. Like when you see the bigger picture
segment of a population and culture and this other stuff, gaining all these rights and prosperity at the sacrifice of a couple girls. You know what I mean? Thousands, if not hundreds of thousands versus a handful.
Yeah,
I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it happens all the time.
I see that. I see that picture too. But at the same time, there's something inside of me that just can't reconcile the fact that it's like,
it's the human part.
Yeah.
Because when you actually when you boil down these equations and look at the actual numbers and the shit that goes into it, it's like you never ask how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
You just enjoy it. Because the moment you do, you're put off to it.
You're put off to it. Yeah, definitely. Another thing too that I was thinking about too is like, do we want, because like I said, we have a lot of institutions that are named after, Cesar Chavez streets and stuff like that. And the resources that it would take to remove his name and then replace it with something else, or, whatever it is that we do, like all those resources. Cause like, I'm just thinking about like Los Angeles as a piece. But I mean, when you think about the whole United States as a whole, and for individual states and, municipalities that probably have some sort of mention of or have something that's like, in the image of Cesar Chavez, like, is it productive to use those resources to remove his name and his images, like resources that we could probably use for something else? Because currently times are hard. Times are not easy in any sort of way. I was like, I think about it in a sense where it's like, is it something that we can move until later on, once we've reached a stable point and have enough like resources to spare to do something like that, to remove all of this, or is it something that like, do you feel like it's something that needs to happen immediately?
I don't feel it needs to happen immediately. I honestly don't feel like it needs to happen at all. Like, whatever, the street is literally up the street for me. Like, it's just another street. It doesn't represent anything to me because it's something that I see all the time. Like, I understand the meaning behind the name of the whatever. It will get fixed. It will get changed because situations and moments like this are the only time government, whether it be local or federal, will act quick enough, because it's the easy
way to get
fix.
Points. Yeah.
And I remember seeing a post on Reddit saying like, this is the fastest I've ever seen California move to do something.
Yeah, to do something like this.
Like, ultimately, it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's just like we've talked about before, where the left kept focusing on shit that didn't matter. They kept focusing on people's like personal feelings and shit like that, when you should have been focusing on economics and shit like that. And they're placating to they're playing to the niche crowds instead of the overall community, like the whole state community.
It's one of the situations where like, okay, like I believe that maybe in the 90s we had enough prosperity to where we could have probably like maybe just focused on the social problems of like, just like, societal problems, not necessarily like, social programs or anything of that sort. Like where we could focus on basically, on making society better in a sense of like, maybe protections towards, the protections that we had towards people of color and also the LGBTQ and stuff like that. Like when the country is doing well, when economic problems are not a table issue, like a fucking an issue that you would have a discussion over during Thanksgiving, that's when you focus on societal problems like that. Right now, things are not doing so well. We're not doing well. Like we're middle class is essentially eroding. A lot of the poor are fucking suffering, and the rich are getting richer. There's such a ridiculous economic divide or class divide between the citizens here or people here in the United States, that the focus of all of these societal problems is really not the priority that we should be working on right now. Like the one of the biggest failures with that I will attribute to the Democratic Party and come what happened in 2024, with the new with the election, was the fact that because the Democrats are bought out and because they are receiving money from these big fucking donors, they would never attack their donors. They would never attack the people who are the reason why we are in the situation that we're in, right? Whenever right-wing politicians start to blame transgender issues or fucking immigration for the economic problems that the American citizens are going through, the rebuttal to that should have been from the Democratic Party is like, trans people are not the reason why you're poor. Immigrants are not the reason why you're poor. It's the fucking billionaire class that's not paying their taxes, that is doing everything imaginable to fucking make sure that you are left under and that you are in a constant need of fucking resources, because you will be desperate enough to work for the cheapest amount of money just to make sure that you're keeping yourself afloat. There you go. That's the messaging that you need to use. You get me? Where you take away the focus from the people that are being blamed for the economic reasons, and you focus it on the actual perpetrators of this imbalance of class and money. You got me? And that's one of the things where it's like, okay, like, why aren't you doing this? It's because they've been bought out. While I do agree with you on that aspect that they shouldn't be focusing so much on defending like that, or making the focus of their campaigns defending rights, it's like, no, explain why it's not their fault, and then put forward the person who's to blame for this, and then talk about how you're going to fix this by fixing their economic situation, because that's what it all stems from, and I just don't feel like mainstream Democrats are ever going to do that now.
No one mainstream is going to ever do that.
That's
not how the system works.
That's not how the system works. And you know what? One of the things that just recently happened, Illinois had a fucking had their I think their midterms happening, or I think it might have been no, it wasn't their midterms. I think two major districts were the ones that were two districts were the ones that were like kind of like very, very divided. It had a bunch of like different a bunch of different fucking candidates. One race had two progressive candidates and then one establishment one. The establishment candidate was obviously in the lead, but then one of the progressive candidates was like neck and neck. Eventually, by the final month or before the last month of campaigning, she was like fucking close, literally like 3-4 points away from being a tie. And so then there was the other progressive candidate that was like at fucking like, I think 3 or 4% popularity. If that candidate had fucking like dropped out of the race and endorsed the other progressive candidate, that progressive candidate would have won. You got me? So one of the things this kind of like, and so then everyone was hoping that this, I think Kat Abu Ghazaleh, I forgot, I don't know her last name. She's Palestinian and she's very progressive. So like she was very, very close to fucking beating out something Bliss was his name, I think. And the whole point is like there's like it brings me back to the mayoral race with Mamdani. Mamdani, the reason why he won is because the other progressive candidate that was running for mayoral candidacy as well, he ended up dropping out because he saw the writing was on the wall. He's like, I'm not going to make it. So what did they do? Him and Mamdani basically fucking made a coalition. It's like if by the last month, like if I'm not on the top, I'll drop out and endorse you, and you do the same for me. One of the best things that they ever did. That's the only reason why ranked choice voting, and also like the that agreement between them where they would drop out and endorse the other if it was that's what saved. That's literally what got Mamdani the mayoral position. And I just kind of wish that a lot of these progressive people that are running for Congress would do something similar to that, because it's like, it's literally you guys versus them, you versus the establishment. And if you can't fucking form a coalition where you guys get into some sort of agreement where it's like, yeah, we're hitting like the tail end of the campaign run, only one of us has a really good chance of it. Fuck it, we need to drop out and endorse this person, you know? And if we're not doing that, what the fuck is the point? Like we're not going to do anything. We're never going to win against the establishment if we're going to continue to persist and be divided for whatever fucking reason it is. So I don't know where I was going with this, but
well, I feel like that's what should have happened. What was it, 2016 with Hillary and Sanders? I felt like at some point Hillary should have just fucking dropped out of the race and back Sanders, because I really honestly believe if that had been the case, Trump wouldn't have won.
Yeah, because polling was showing that the Sanders would have like beat him more substantially, like with more extra points than Hillary did. Hillary was like, I think it was by 3 points, which is like fucking margin of error basically. And so it's like, to me, I don't know. Establishments weren't going to do that because obviously they want to make sure that they protect their money interests and stuff like that. But the second run, the only reason why Bernie lost was because the Democratic the establishment vote was broken up with Klobuchar and fucking, what was it, Booker, and who else was there? There were some other people that were running for candidacy. That was like so divided. And if it wasn't for them to just kind of like towards the end coalescing and being like, we're all dropping out and we're gonna fucking endorse Joe Biden would have lost.
Yeah,
like Bernie Sanders would have won. Nothing else. Like the division or the fucking separation of votes that all those candidates caused in the establishment would have easily handed out the candidacy to Sanders, which is very sad because, quite frankly, I imagine if we had this was what Sanders' second term, you know?
Well, I mean, he would have gotten us through the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then depending how everything had gone from 16 to 20, he could have had a second term. And I'm not saying that we would have never gotten Trump as president, but maybe things would have been decent enough to where people didn't feel like they had to vote someone like him.
Yeah. But it is what it is. But
anyways, back to that Mexican
pedophile. Yeah, I was reading the article. The article is for the most part has been the interviews that they did of the two people, and dude, the accounts that they said is I don't think it's as fucking disgusting as like the fucking Epstein file shit, but it's pretty bad, dude.
You mean he wasn't eating children?
Yeah, he wasn't eating children or anything of that sort. But like some of the things that I was like reading, I was just like, damn, I can't feel so bad for these two women that are like, or at least the two women that were part of this interview. And also for Dolores Huerta too, because like, I mean, fuck, dude.
Well, imagine just having to drive down Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just shit like that.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I'm just like kind of like thinking about this and it's like, dude, this is fucked up. These are two women that are fucking, well, three women in particular that we know of here on the article that are fucking scarred. Dolores Huerta till this day probably is still kind of like coming into terms with that. She probably doesn't fucking like realize, you know, what had happened, or maybe like she's still struggling with it. She's still processing it, you know, and stuff like that. Imagine having that experience, you as Dolores Huerta having that experience with Cesar Chavez and then finding out that this guy was like fucking sexually assaulting children, you know?
Yeah.
Like you already had a certain picture of him. Like, sure, you had those two instances, but then you find out that he's just that much of a fucking deviant, dude. Like, this is someone who's like, you know, revered. Like I said, like how like you can't. There's no justification. You get me? There's no reason why we should allow this. I don't know. It's just
so. Let me ask you this, because I always kind of had an issue with turning an individual into like a monolith. So like, you know, Cesar Chavez, MLK, stuff like that. So in light of this Cesar Chavez stuff, do you think like having like an MLK Day and MLK Boulevard and all this stuff centered around him, do you think it would be more beneficial to like not celebrate him, but like, and yes, I get it. He was assassinated and he died for the cause, but like, he wasn't the only one. There are many others that died for the cause in worse ways, lynchings and all this other bullshit. Like, for me, I always kind of felt like they should be remembered more than him. Not to take, obviously, the movement was him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, there still should be recognition for all those other people that fell. You know what I mean? Like, there should still be, and maybe there are, I don't know, but there should still be like at least monuments or like plaques or something. They should be more famous, at least as famous as MLK.
I don't think there should be like, I feel like nowadays there shouldn't be monuments to a person. There should be monuments to people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Given everything that we end up finding out about these people, like these people that are like, you know, made into like this fucking, you know, monolith. Like, yeah, I don't think that we should anymore like build monuments to a single person, but definitely to the movement or to the people that were in the movement. And like you said, yes, there have been people that have been more like brutally killed for this movement and probably had just as much influence as Martin Luther King or other people. In the same way that, like, you know, with Cesar Chavez, like I mentioned, Dolores Huerta. I think I don't know if I would move I don't know, honestly.
Because like for me, like if you do something like that, like I'll use the MLK thing. If you like, just an example, I'm not saying like, but if you changed it to like something where it's just, I guess I can't think of another word, right? Like a Martyrs Day, right? For all the people that died and gave their lives and whatever, or you know, for that cause. For me, that eliminates the issue if something ever came out about MLK, similar to Cesar Chavez. You don't have to worry about that staining the entire.
But I mean, that whole preemptive thing.
But it's not preemptive for that situation. It's done in recognition of everyone. The benefit is no single individual is the representation of that movement anymore. Because remember, people are fallible. You know what I mean?
That is true.
So if you look at it as a whole, instead of just focusing on the one individual, you know what I mean? It gives that greater scope of the sacrifice that goes into the movements and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, isn't MLK Day his birthday though?
So everyone has birthdays. I mean, you can still do it on his birthday to make that part of the memory, but you know, incorporate everyone else.
Yeah, so it's basically
it's his birthday. Yeah,
it's to honor his birthday. It's not. It doesn't necessarily fall that same. It's on a Monday because like his birthday is on a Monday. You get me? So like, in a sense, you would like in the case of MLK Day, you would have to remove it from his birthday. You would have to remove it from him, and make it.
I'm not saying like for the like to do it for this. I'm just saying like, if there were situations like that in the future.
Right. I mean, but okay, so like,
because the MLK thing, there's no problem with it for now, unless something comes up. But you know what I mean? So that's fine now. But I'm just saying, like, in the future, or you know, if shit like this comes up again.
Well, I mean, I like, okay, like as a solution to, I think as a solution to remove the person who's already done wrong from, like, to remove the focus from them. Yes. Honor everyone, honor the people that were part of the movement, and replace it with that. I think that's more than perfect solution, you know, for it. Or, I mean, honestly, at this point, like, it's either because people aren't infallible, like you said. So like, I think it's a better solution to just move it and move the focus into, you know, basically that, in that sense, because quite frankly, eventually we end up finding some bad shit about people.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like, unless you're gonna dig into every person that did X, Y, or Z for this particular movement, you're kind of, without necessarily having that at the forefront of your thought process,
right?
you're helping eliminate issues like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I see where you're coming from.
Because even shit like the civil rights, there were fucking kids that were killed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Fucking kids. So like, I mean, look, I don't know. I'm sure kids will touch kids and shit, but you know what I mean? Like the chances, it's just one of those things where like there's a lot of people often kind of like forgotten or just not really recognized and stuff like that. And my thing is like when you put all your eggs in one basket, you know, that kind of situation.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
And in no way is this trying to be like, oh, I hope fucking there's a gotcha moment for MLK. But I'm just saying like this seems to be a trend now, especially where for people like to dig into people's pasts to find shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I bring this stuff up.
I mean, I think it's a viable solution to handle that sort of like
and
situation.
See, I think the thing though too is like I think it would be a solution for the Cesar Chavez thing.
Yeah.
But moving forward, I wouldn't even call it a solution. It's just I don't even want to say a preemptive strike or whatever. I can't think of a better term, but like it's a good way to avoid that kind of situation. You know what I mean? Without even having to put that much thought into it.
Right.
Where it's like a kind of catch-all of like, oh, this person. Like, well, it's not about just this person.
It's not just about this person.
Okay, so we'll remove them from the list of like 15 other people.
Yeah.
That's not that big of a deal. You're not having to take down statues everywhere, change street names, rename holiday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you erase one person from that list or whatever.
I think do you feel like, because I mean like it's always been men who have been at the forefront of all of this, like who have been put into these pedestals and, you know, essentially made into these monolithic figures, right? Do you feel, because maybe back then there was such a focus of like, because I feel like a lot of like, you know, a lot of like US history is about, you know, uplifting these exceptional people and, you know, making sure that people, tall tales kind of thing, like, you know, where like making sure that that everyone remembers them despite whatever they might
you
have
like
done.
mythologize them.
You mythologize them, right? So it's like, do you feel like, because I feel like this is a case because that's just kind of like what American history is about, just making these people into like fucking gods for us, I guess you could say, or just that similar structure. I think just doing away with that, and I think we've kind of maybe gotten a little bit closer to doing that now, where we just don't. I don't feel like we revere people like that anymore, or at least not as much as it was before. I think nowadays what we end up doing is like acknowledging the individual for their work in the movement, but we mainly focus on the movement itself, because that's one of the things that like at least Bernie Sanders has had, like, it's not about me, it's about making sure that we all fucking, like, you get me? Like, he always makes sure to make that separation. So I'm wondering if maybe because of that history that we have, where we've always tried to poltergeist.
Yeah. It's Cesar Chavez. He's tired of us talking
he's tired
shit.
of us talking shit. I think because of that, shit, I forgot where I was going with this.
That we've moved away from kind of like deifying.
Yeah,
people like that.
We definitely moved away from that. So I don't feel like that's going to be an issue for like maybe for us in the future. But I think that's one of the reasons why we have the problems that we have now, where because of this deification of a bunch of fucking random, not random, but a bunch of people who had been significantly influential in our history, that we've run into the problems that we have today. And I guess what I was trying to also kind of trying to connect is like, it's always been men. And I wonder if maybe there is some like misogynistic history, the reason why we never really put women in statues like that, or not as much as often as we put, because when you think about fucking Dolores Huerta, she had equal influence with what Cesar Chavez was doing with the UFW.
Yeah, I think for situations like that though, the kind of, I don't want to say the problem, but I think the mentality is when there's when there's like a movement like that going on, and yeah, typically it's a guy at the forefront, but I think they're celebrated more because for whatever reason, when like it's a dude at the forefront of a movement, it's seen as beneficial for everyone as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a lot of the times I feel like it's perceived that when a woman is at the forefront of a movement, it's more for the benefit of women, whether it be perception or just out of necessity, because women are kind of one of those part of that demographic that's often overlooked as their own separate like little kind of culture and community and stuff like that.
Right.
So like, yeah, when do women do speak up, it tends to be more for like women's rights and issues, but because they have to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where when it's like a dude speaking up for something, typically it seems like it's just rights and issues in general stuff and stuff in general
for everyone.
Yeah. I think that's a perception of it.
I could definitely see that. But then like how do we end up dissolving that perception then? Because quite frankly, like Dolores Huerta wasn't doing that shit just for women, you know.
What? But okay, I will say this though: as if you're gonna use her, that was at a time where women still, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, her voice wasn't going to be heard as loud because no one cared about her voice as much. I think that's a different time in our society. I think if the situation were like present day, I think she probably would have gotten at least as much attention as Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
Especially current time.
Do you think you feel like it's more like a sign of the times that basically back then it was just not? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that too. But
because I mean, like for better or for worse, you have Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Like you think like climate and all that shit, you think her.
That is true.
That's what I mean, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people think of her because of the way she goes about things, but that's a good example.
Yeah.
You know, it's climate affects everyone. So she's become the face of it.
Well, not just that, but also like the fucking Palestinian plight as well. She got fucking arrested by Israel.
That's what I'm saying. Flotilla. So it depends on the movement and the objective and your goals and stuff like that. So I think now currently as a whole, it probably wouldn't be the same situation, but I know what you're talking about. And not to say that women still might not get a fair shake or whatever, but I think it would be easier for them to get that recognition now.
Right. Yeah.
Not that it would always be good, like I said, in the case of Thunberg, but you know, what was it? No, there's no such thing as bad press or whatever.
Yeah. I get that. I'm okay with them, at least in a public setting or just things like institutions and things. I'm okay with them removing his name and just removing his image because, quite frankly, I don't feel like he needs to be revered anymore, or at least not like that. I mean, like I said, we can't deny the positive influences that he had and with the movement itself, but at the same time, like I said earlier, we can't whitewash it either. As far as like a replacement for that, I definitely do feel like something like more general, like where that names or brings attention to the movement itself rather than the individuals who had an effect in the movement is like the best way to go about handling this. And I don't know if you feel, I feel like if you feel like it's wrong to remove his name from it or to like, you know, I don't know, dog. I think you're misogynistic. You're just like not, you got me? Cause like,
you know what? I don't think it would be a misogyny thing. I think it's just, it goes back to that thing where, you know, especially if you're a certain age and you live through all that shit and you know what I mean? And you were kind of there for it. I can kind of see how people would be like, I guess, justify it or rationalize it or be like, well, what's done is done. Why make a big deal out of it now? You know what I mean? Like you said, why waste money and resources to change it now?
I mean, that I understand, but like,
and I do think it's an age, a generational thing too.
It definitely is too, because I mean, let's be real about it. Like you and I didn't have to experience whatever that generation experienced as far as like farm workers' hands or anything of that sort. We didn't experience, like we're standing on their shoulders in the accomplishments that they made, right?
Well, like my grandparents would tell me, and even some of my friends' parents would be like, yeah, growing up, some of them are like, we don't know Spanish because our parents didn't want us to teach us Spanish because at that time it was kind of like not very safe to speak Spanish.
It was seen as like not.
Yeah, so we grew up in a time where like that none of that mattered.
Yeah,
you speak English, you speak Spanish, whatever. Like no one gave a fuck if you're Latino anymore. But you know, before that, like 10, 15, 20 years before, you know, before us, it wasn't that friendly still. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. I feel like sometimes people forget like the whole civil rights and the race thing. Like I feel like they forget that there were other people besides just black people dealing with that shit. You know, you had Asians, you had Hispanics, you had all, you know, you still have people dealing with that shit, you know? Especially now with certain current events, you have like just normal fucking Jewish people who have nothing to do with anything that's going on and they're getting shit on.
Yeah.
You have Iranians, nothing to do with they're getting shit. You have Palestine, like it from every angle, you know what I mean? Like you have fucking people that look brown, that look Hispanic, and they're fucking either like Armenian or Indian or whatever, or even Middle Eastern, and they're getting shit on just because they look
moderately like Latino,
you know what I mean?
Like
it's just there is no like it's almost like like black people still get shit on. I'm not taking that away, but it's almost like, okay, well, let's ease up on the black people, and there's like, you know, like it's like they're passing that fucking hot potato to different fucking ethnic groups now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because California, it was Hispanics. Where was it? Where were they, in Minnesota or whatever? Not that long ago, it was the Somalians. It's just like, let's just start picking random people now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because it almost feels like, well, the blacks are too protected now, so let's go after the other motherfuckers.
Well, I mean, like even then some though, the blacks are still getting fucked over by what
but I'm saying ICE, like normal by who?
By ICE. Like the ICE were like, if at any point, what was it in Detroit where they were like they went into a fucking they did a raid
in the hotel or in the
apartment complex. Like black people were like, hey, I'm black, and then they were still fucking them over.
Yeah.
It's like they're indiscriminately attacking anybody who's moderately fucking different color than their fucking white skin.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, but see, that's what I'm saying. I can't even say it's weird because like I obviously there is a race thing.
Yeah.
But then you have the shit with I forget his name, Petetti, the nurse that was killed.
Oh, Alex Peretti.
Yeah, Peretti. Motherfuckers that killed him were Hispanic.
Oh, yeah, Hispanic. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's a race thing, but it's also like,
I mean,
I don't get it.
Those two are just fucking race traitors.
But that's what I'm saying. Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't even fucking get it, bro. Like, I don't understand it.
It's the fact that you in any non-white community, because I think and this is my personal opinion, because we've been taught to think that being white or being the closer you are to whiteness is the best that you can be because of the way that they are treated, the way that they have money, the way that they're more successful. So your what is it? Your proximity to whiteness is essentially good for you. So if you are living the way that they are or holding the same values that they do, no matter what your skin color goes, you're hoping that you're going to be accepted by them and be brought into the fold, when in reality you're just another useful tool for them to use against their own people. You get me? So I think it's this need or want to be as close to them and try to, in hopes that you could be as successful and just be accepted and just to be able to be like, I'm on top now, I'm above you all, and stuff like that. You get me? I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I 100% get you.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes me back to the thing of, you know, the Polish in the camps, you know, like there's still a target on your back. Like no matter how much you help, there's still a target on your back.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the moment, they don't recognize. That's
what I'm saying. Is like, but once a certain segment's gone and you're all that's left, they're going to move on to you.
They're going to move on to you and stuff like that. So it's like, and here's a thing that I say this as a person, obviously, who's not black, but black people are going to get fucked regardless.
Oh yeah, 100%.
No matter what, you know,
they can't win. There's no winning for them.
There's that's the fucked up part about it, is like there's no winning for them. They can step out of anything that they want, and it's still like, no matter what, it's still going to affect them. Because I remember, what was it? The whole Kamala Harris thing, you know, there was some on Twitter. There were some people who I could only assume that they were black people because of their profile pictures. They're basically saying is like, yeah, we try to vote for her and we try to help you guys out, but this time we're out. We're not going to be, you know, we're out of it. We don't want to deal with it. That's like sad for you, because one way or another you're still affected by it, because this guy Trump just winning the fucking presidency means that no matter what you try to do, you can say that you didn't fucking, like, you know, like you had nothing to do with it. The fucking policies that are going to be coming out of this administration are going to be affecting you, because that's what their focus is. Their focus is ultimately you. That's like, it's you're going to get fucked just because you're there. Your existence.
You exist.
So you exist. Yeah. And it's just like, you're just going to get fucked. So like, I feel bad for, like, I legitimately do feel bad for for fucking black people, because no matter what they do, they still get the short end of the stick, you know?
I feel like it's gotten to a point now, though, where it's like, it's everyone that's not white is just getting the short end of the stick now.
Definitely. But I mean, like, look, again, talking about the whole proximity to whiteness, you know, I think we can all recognize that, like, in some way or another, we're like to them, to the white people, to the racist white people, like, there's certain sects of of how they would like to focus their hate on, you know? Because when I think about how basically a lot of like Asians are very like, you know, closer to white proximity, is because to the white people they're useful.
Yeah,
you know, they can fucking handle, they can handle the fucking money, they can handle the numbers and whatever, et cetera, et cetera. It's all this fucking racist bullshit, right? For Latinos, what are we? We're a fucking good fucking workforce.
We're
labor. We're labor, you know, and stuff like that. Same thing for the black people and stuff like that. But it's just like, but ultimately in the end, there's still certain segments. In their eyes, there's a hierarchy for them of
everyone has their place.
Everything has their place and stuff like that, you know. And ultimately, in the end, black people for fucking how many years have been regarded as the bottom of the fucking of that fucking pyramid, you know. And it's like, and despite all of the effort that black people do to ensure that they're treated equally, it feels like it almost never amounts to anything. So when black people come out and talk about their issues and fucking do protests about issues that are affecting them, guess what? It's issues that affect us as well. Because without the civil rights movement, we wouldn't have civil rights.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, that's what I meant by like, a movement shouldn't be, you shouldn't make a monolith out of one man for a movement.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you also have the danger of, if that person dies, a lot of times the movement dies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you can't just rely on the shoulders of one person for a certain movement, you know? And like you said, you know, the civil rights, it benefited everyone. So like, it benefited everyone. And so one of the things that really fucking pisses me off, I don't know if you remember a while back, I think this was maybe like around 2016, where there was some fucking like some city council people that were like talking shit about another person who was, I think he had either a black wife or a black child, and she referred to his kids or her kids. I forgot who the person is, as monkeys, essentially, in a fucking very racial fucking tone and stuff like that. And they mentioned something. I think one of the fucking lines that she said is like, "Oh, he's with the blacks," and it's like, the fuck, dude. You're Latina. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're equally fucking like, you know, you get me? Like, why are you so like? Why are we dividing ourselves when we're all getting fucked regardless by the white overlords? You know. So it's like, I don't understand this whole separation of this shit, and how we like, even certain people within our race like to think of themselves as being superior to blacks. You get me? Like, I don't know. Like, we all stand on the fucking work that they did. We fucking, like, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be we wouldn't be enjoying the liberties that we have if it wasn't for them sacrificing themselves for us, essentially, for the greater good of us, essentially, you know? So like, I don't know. I just like, I've seen it way too much, and I know that it's gotten a little bit better more recently, but there's still like this fucking like, I don't know. I just like, I don't know where I was going with this, but it's just like, it's irritating to me. I think it's because it's for so long, it's been, when I say us against them, I'm not saying like Hispanics versus blacks or us against them. It's just like everyone versus everyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Hispanics will talk about blacks. Hispanics will talk about shit about Asians. Asians will talk shit about blacks. Asians will talk shit about Hispanics. Blacks do you know, like, everyone does it. Everyone's just fucking hating on each other. But I think it's because the way the system has been set up. And the system runs and teaches us that it's everyone else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, I keep fucking hating to bring them up, but Mangione comes along, does something, and everyone's like, it's not everyone else's fault. It's these motherfuckers' fault. And I think people, like you said, it's getting better because I think people are starting to realize that.
Yeah.
And wake up. And I think the thing with like Trump is that he's weaponizing it for the segment of this country, which is now the white segment, saying like we're going extinct. It's like you're not going extinct. It's just everyone else that's not white is learning. Fighting each other has been getting us nowhere. We need to rethink this shit, organize, and focus on the real problem.
Right.
And look, not to get all, Cartman race war, but when you've been the one exploiting everyone for so long, they're going to realize it after a while. And when they realize it, they're going to want change. And and I'm not even just talking about like a race thing. Again, the Mangione thing.
It's more. I mean, the fundamental issue is class. You know?
It is. It's like class and economics and all that stuff. Yeah.
So like when the poor end up figuring out that no matter what they've been getting fucked regardless. They'll want to fucking go to the top and fucking it's gonna end up becoming that if things continue to be going the way that they're going right now. Because the moment that the public or the masses realize that they're more than you,
the French do that shit all the fucking time, bro.
Yep.
The French are masters at revolution. That's the one thing I always wish that we had, that the French fucking excel at, is that the moment that the government's not doing something or doing something they don't like, fucking farmers are out there spraying manure over like, bro, we get shit on constantly. And we're like, well, can we have more? You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Land of the free, my fucking ass.
Can I have seconds?
Yeah. Please, sir, can I have some more? Like, fuck, bro. God damn. But it's like one of those systems where it's like, well, do I go out and protest and stand up for my liberties? Or do I risk not being able to pay rent? It's like one of those things. You're kind of caught in a shit situation. At least a lot of people here are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very, very...
But it's our own fault.
I mean, it is. It really is, honestly. The more I think about it, the more I end up reaching that conclusion is like, we allowed the system to prosper. We feed it. We feed into it. We feed into it as well. And then we also, because of how the system also, in the sense, has been allowed to be built, we do not inform ourselves of the things that are going around. We do not inform ourselves or do not seek knowledge to see what is actually happening in our government system.
You know what it is? And part of me feels like it's not that we don't seek knowledge. I think it's just by the time we're done with everything, at the end of the day, there's just no bandwidth for it. Because like we mentioned, like the bombing of the girls' school, you hear about it and you're like, oh, that sucks. But that's your reaction because you come home, you're fucking exhausted from work. You got to worry about bills and all this shit. And then now your fucking country's attacking like a girls' school. You're like, I just don't, like we said, I don't have it in me to, you know what I mean? Like there's no, again, like the past couple episodes, we kept talking about Epstein and then we started talking about the fucking, and it's like, we can keep talking about this every fucking episode. But after a while, it's like, it just becomes noise.
Yeah.
Like there's no, you just become numb to it and you accept it. It's like we're like addicts. Our tolerance just keeps going up and up and up to the point where school shootings, bro. It used to be a fucking national tragedy. Now it's almost like a fucking like a pastime, dude.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking a football season. Like school's in session. Guess what? Kids are gonna start dying.
Yeah.
Summer's the only safe time for them now. Like it's one of those things where you just desensitization and you acclimate.
The fact that I agree with you on what you said, that summer is the only safe time for children, is fucking ridiculous. Like, you get me? Like I'm thinking about it, and it's like, that is the most fucked up sentence that I've ever heard, and yet I agree with you because that's the reality that we live in. Nothing has been done to fucking like make the safety of children a priority. I like how like they're trying to pass ID laws for fucking children online, but yet school shootings are still happening.
I mean, the quote, like
how really concerned are you about the children?
Well,
really?
that's well, look, when your administration is fucking them, they need them to stay alive.
That is very
because
true.
There's a fine line. It's okay to eat the dead children, but you do not fuck them, Will. There is a line you do not cross, okay? You may fuck them to death and then eat them after.
Good God.
But there's no death then fucking. That is just no. I'm sorry.
There's still necrophilia is a line that they won't cross. Is that
you can, but they have to be adults.
They have to be adults. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna move on to something else because I feel like we kind of went a little Well, we went all over the place, honestly, but I do.
I feel like we got the meat of the Cesar Chavez thing out of the way.
I appreciate that we at least in some way talked about that and got that out there, and I hope that people think about it, and more so like whether you're on the side of Cesar Chavez and you don't want his shit removed from or whatever, or the other, but I mean it's just like it really is something to ponder about and think about. But on a lighter note,
real quick, as someone of Salvadorian descent, hearing the Cesar Chavez stuff, are you like, yeah, take that, Mexicans?
No, not at all. I mean, like I said, he's revered within all Latinos and Latinas. So it's like, I mean, that's what I've been taught here in California or in LA. You know, like he if it wasn't for him, the move, or just he was the figurehead of the movement and stuff like that, and all the benefit that we've gotten for that. Like one of the things. Like I am of Salvadoran descent, and I've heard about the stories between like, Mexicans versus Salvadorans, or Mexican versus like Central American countries and shit like that. Again, it's another fucking stupid thing about like just honestly, like what the fuck? Like you get me? It's like I don't get it.
I never understood it.
I don't understand it. But like honestly, I think back to that one fucking caravan that ended up happening, and there was that one Guatemalan lady that was complaining that she was getting refried beans and tortillas from the fucking Mexicans. It's like, bitch, they're giving you food. Shut the fuck up and eat it. Like, the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I get the feeling that she was a plant, dude. She was just someone who was like meant to fucking like start some fucking shit around there, and just to fucking. But I mean, like. You literally just fucking fed the fires of this stupid fucking.
You gave them legitimacy to why they don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're not helping the situation. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna offend people with this, but I feel y'all are fucking dumb when it comes to this bullshit. I need you guys to get over it.
It's tribalism.
Yeah, this bullshit tribalism and shit like that. Get over it.
One last question.
Yeah.
Since your opinion of Chavez has soured over these allegations, if it were to come out that he really enjoyed Salvadorian tamales, would your opinion of him get better?
Listen, I personally don't enjoy Salvadorian tamales, so I don't even care.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I would be more offended by finding that out over than what we just found out.
Like, I'm sorry, my people, but like Central American tamales are like, they're nothing in comparison to fucking Mexican tamales. I know those
not
are
all Mexican tamales, because there's certain sections of Mexico where they sell funky tamales a little bit, but
well, I mean, like that's just,
overall, yeah.
But look, I like queso con raja, and that's my jam, dude. And I haven't found a fucking Mexican tamale spot that hasn't fucking
fucked it up.
Yeah, fucked it up for me. So like, I'm just saying, like, look, I have a friend who lives in Texas. She ordered a tamale thinking it's going to be a Mexican tamale. It ends up being a Central American tamale. She's like, it's fucking good, but like the texture is just fucking off. I'm sorry. The gelatinous textures of fucking Central American tamales, dude. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The only exception to me as far as like Central American tamales, and I know there's very few people that probably know about this, tamales pisque, which are basically just like the masa is a lot harder and more dry, but it still kind of feels a little gelatinous because it's boiled. It's not steamed, but it usually is basically like it's just the masa with bean inside of it instead of like chicken and all this other shit.
I've had that. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Those are the only ones that like that I'll put them on the same fucking like boat with Mexican tamales.
Well, that kind of reminds me of I forgot what there's like a I don't even remember if it's like Japanese or Chinese, but there's like a almost like a dumpling, like it's like where it's like steamed, but it has like that mushy meat inside. That's kind of reminds me of that same texture. Where
you're talking about the bao buns?
I don't remember what it's called. Where it's not gelatinous, but it's not like
it's a steamed bun.
Yeah,
it's a what is it? I think they're called xiao long bao or something like that.
I don't. Yeah,
but like it's basically like a steamed bun with meat stuffing inside. Oh, dude, those are the best.
I've had those tamales that you're talking about, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, no, like the tamales pisco are always fucking like you will fucking like I will devour 5 or 6 of those motherfuckers, especially if you put a fucking hard boiled egg in them. Oh fuck yeah! But I mean that's the only thing that I'll say as far as like Central American tamales. That's where we win. I fucking yeah.
Real one last thing.
I need you to fucking hurt.
Okay, wait. My favorite genre of video is like whether it be TikTok or whatever, white people trying like Hispanic, but it generally ends up being like Mexican food for the first time.
Yeah.
because seeing them react to like the flavors and then trying to describe the flavors and the food that they're eating. And I especially love the subgenre of like white people trying like tamales for the first time.
Oh God!
Because there's been a couple times it's like I don't like them because of the husk. Like, how do you eat that? And they're like, and then sometimes they'd be like, oh, I got comments from my viewers like you're supposed to unwrap it, and they're like, it's so much better. It's just great. But and
those are the best.
But I'm like, fuck it, dude. Like that's what it's about. Trying new shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Like, oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
God. Well, I mean, this is literally about white people trying out Mexican food, essentially. But there was an article in the Gothamist where there was a German tourist that went to Times Square in New York and tried Mexican tacos for the first time. And he ended up suffering some very extreme symptoms after he tried a hot sauce.
What kind of symptoms?
This is from the article Gothamists. There's a problem with the sauce. Times Square's taqueria salsa sparks a lawsuit. A taqueria in Times Square in New York is being sued by a German tourist by the name of Fecal Mans, who claims he suffered severe physical symptoms from a bite of Los Tacos Número Uno's green salsa.
Real quick, his name is Fake?
Fecal.
Oh, okay.
Or Fecal. I don't know how to, but
Fecal.
I don't know. But Mons in court filings said his tongue burned, his face turned red, and his heart rate soared. He claimed he suffered gastrointestinal distress and mouth sores that lasted for days. The case was dismissed by a judge in the Manhattan Federal Courthouse.
That's a Friday night for me, bro.
Right?
That's like a Friday night for all of us. Like that, the tacos aren't good if you're not sweating and
if you're not, dude. Another kind of food that I ended up having that gave me that effect. I don't know if you're familiar with tteokbokki, Korean the Korean rice cakes that are like in hot sauce. There's a place in Koreatown called Yeptuk. They focus on doing that shit basically. So I got the hot version of that shit, dude. I've never had the hot. And I was like, it can't be that bad, brother. Like,
I was gonna say, there's two cultures. I like spicy. Like, right. I've fucked up my gut eating spicy. There's two cultures I generally don't fuck with, when it comes to spice, and it's Indian and a lot of Asians, because their version of spice is way different than like Hispanic version of spice. And their version of hot is it's a different burn, dude.
No, totally.
It's a really fucking different burn.
So I ended up trying it, and I was just like fucking like holy shit. I initially I didn't feel it, and then it starts building up. I'm like, oh fuck, this is like really fucking like hitting me. And I'm like, but it's so good, I can't stop, and so I'm just keep going, right? But the thing is that I started sweating, and then I kind of felt like I was getting a little bit of like a little high. Kind of feeling.
Yeah, you get all dizzy and shit.
Yeah, I was getting a little dizzy. I'm like, holy shit, this is like, I've never felt that before. I was afraid that I was gonna get a panic attack because of this bullshit. But then I was with an ex at the time, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I think I'm okay. I'm just like, this is kind of new. And he's like, do you want to get a banana milk? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I need that shit. So we ended up getting the banana milk, and then afterwards it passed. But going back to the story, journalist Walter Whitman fulfilled his journalistic duty and tried the tacos for himself. He ordered exactly what Mons had: one carne asada taco, one pollo asado taco, and one adobada pork. As with many taco stands and restaurants, there was a self-serve salad bar. This one had a red salsa, a green salsa, and pico de gallo. They were not labeled to indicate their spiciness. Woodman adorned two of the tacos with the red salsa and used the infamous green salsa on the third. He claimed the green salsa stared at me, a toxic plasma of emerald tomato juice flecked with chili seeds. He takes one bite of the green smothered taco and describes feeling a flicker of fire on his tongue and some numbness on his lips, but it passed. The salsa just wasn't that spicy.
I need to know. Okay, there's two things. I need to know the race of this journalist, because if you're a German tourist, you don't get much whiter than German.
Yeah.
and you don't have a lot of Hispanic food. I can't imagine you have a lot of very spicy food out there.
Yeah.
So I can understand that shock of, dude, there's people that can't even fucking handle tapatio, bro.
I know, I get that.
You know what I mean? So like,
well, I mean, okay, so the journalist's name is Walter Wuthman.
Okay.
So
I expected him to be white or something, but he's also from New York.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, if you're having salsa and you're like, after like a bite or two, then it's not that great.
Yeah. Honestly, you know it's not.
Like you need it. Like,
so there's also some other things mentioned in the article that I was just kind of like, this is more so just attacking the character, the guy. But that wasn't the only thing that that particular man, Mons, had fucking sued. He sued a Walmart for not allowing him to fucking not allowing him to use the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi required an American number and it couldn't use a foreign number.
That's any country you go to, though. Yeah,
I know. Then he also sued the NYC police because he alleged that some people were beating up a homeless man, and then he called to report it, but then when it came to trying to call him back, they told him, it was like, oh, we can't call back your number because our system doesn't allow us to dial to foreign numbers. So it's like I don't understand where these lawsuits are coming from or what the reason why. He claims is that he's not doing it to personally benefit himself.
I was going to say, it sounds like he's doing like a lawsuit tourism kind of thing where, because it's very easy to like sue for whatever the fuck you want here in this country.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's like, because I'm assuming if he's German, I don't want to say he's rich, but in terms of like American like economics, he's probably
definitely
way better off. You know what I mean?
Americans here.
So I'm saying like, you know, like he can probably afford that, you know, like those attorneys and shit like that for the potential benefit of a.
He was just basically, his thing was like, things should be labeled for what they are, and rules should be, or what was it? Something about like, if something's wrong with your society, you should aim to fix it. And I hope that I'm able to fix it through these lawsuits.
That's a very German sentiment, though.
Like, to me, it was just like, this is just fucking weird. Like, let's focus on the salsa thing. So the case was ultimately dismissed because the judge was like, everyone knows that salsa is like, you get me? Like, it's like, how do you not know, like you're going to eat to somewhere where like it's known for its spicy food. And I'm pretty sure that reviews that he saw probably mentioned something about the salsa or something like that. You know, you get me? Like, it's kind of like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think you should expect to be told, you know, that something like a condiment can be spicy because it's salsa. What salsa isn't spicy?
Well, I get that, but like, again, and I don't agree with the lawsuit, so I'm not necessarily trying to defend them, but like going back to the being German thing, if you're in Germany and you get salsa and it's like, because I've seen videos of like people in, you know, in the UK and shit, when they're talking about salsa, they're talking about like the jar shit. The jar
like fucking like
gallo.
salsa picante paste, basically, which is like nothing.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I can kind of understand where you're like, oh, it's salsa. I know what salsa is.
Yeah.
But you don't.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I can see that. Just like the whole, he's just trying to get everything to work. Again, he's German. They over-engineer the fuck out of everything. I can understand that one, but this isn't your country. That's not how it works. I can understand that mindset because, you know, like even going to like a different state, you're like, why the fuck isn't this here? Because this is not fucking California. It's different rules, different infrastructure, different needs and shit like that. So I can understand that. I don't agree with it, but I mean, you know, it's just like, look, it feels like he's just doing it for like a payout kind of deal.
Yeah.
But if not, it's like just chalk these up to losses, and maybe the US isn't your jam, dude.
That's another thing too that I was kind of thinking about. So like, you know how like a lot of times it's said that American tourists are very entitled, you know, and whenever they go, they expect things to acclimate to them and not them to acclimate to their environment. So in this case, like, is this one of those situations where we could tell that German is like, hey, this isn't Germany, fuck off, dude?
Well, yeah, and it's weird because like I see it a lot on Reddit where people ask that question, and a lot of them are like, surprisingly, it's not necessarily Americans. They're like, American tourists, yeah, they can be bad, but overall, we can tell if someone's American for two things. They want ice and they're overly friendly. Because they're like, in America, like, because I've even read it too, where like people in the same posters, like when I go to America, people will smile at me, people will wave, people will say hi, and it's a completely different thing. It's a different environment where like, you know, if it like people will be like, Australians are fucking terrible. British people, they're fucking miserable. They're entitled. Like but I think it's just a cultural thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do see those posts where it's like, yeah, Americans suck, but they're not the worst out there in terms of like entitlement. I think it's when the entitlement kicks in, it's bad, but I think that's what makes it stand out. But overall, at least from what I've seen people post, it's not. Yeah, I always got the impression of like people in other countries when they were dealing with American tourists were kind of expecting the worst and like, oh, that wasn't that crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, again, the we don't get a glass of water kind of deal. Like, well, no, you don't get a glass of water. Like, it's just one of those things. But like, and I think a lot of it too just has to do with personal accountability.
Do you feel like he was exaggerating the symptoms that he named in his what you call it, in his court filings?
I don't think this. Look, okay, for the court filing, yeah, maybe, but I can't dismiss it because some people do have bad reactions. You know what I mean?
Because he's talking about mouth sores that lasted for days.
I mean, it could be the acidic shit. I don't know, dude.
I would say, like, I would think that it's maybe an allergic response to something in the salsa.
Could be.
But I mean, like, from a legal standpoint, like, I don't even think it's common for people to be like, because what is it on green salsa? They don't use tomatoes. It's tomatillo.
No, it's tomatillo. Yeah.
Tomatillo is basically like a fucking an eggplant.
And generally though, like every green salsa I had is more for the flavor. It's not even heat. It's usually the red salsa that'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
So for him to say, not to say that there aren't green salsas, because there are.
Yeah.
I've had them, but like I don't know. I don't know what the situation. Like, it honestly, it just makes me want to go out there and try it.
I want to try it too, because I mean, if it's that fucking spicy, and if it's spicier than what I had, as far as like with the tteokbokki over at fucking Yup Duck, then fuck it. Let me go ahead. The extent of how brave I can be with spiciness, I would not eat a fucking ghost pepper by itself.
Oh fuck no!
But I would try a salsa that has like a little bit of ghost pepper. You get me? Like to give it that kick.
I think I would do that.
I would do that.
I would regret it, but I would do that.
I would regret it definitely, but I'm not. But like eating a fucking whole ghost, I've eaten a habanero pepper, dude. That shit was fucking hard, dude.
I think at most I would ever do with a ghost pepper is maybe lick it.
You know what? I would probably do the same thing too.
Maybe,
but like,
or maybe even just hold it and lick my fingers.
No,
but even then, I'm kind of afraid.
I would lick like a fucking like if someone cut it and then told me lick this, I'll lick it.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about cutting it.
No, like I'm thinking they cut it open and then I'd lick it.
Maybe.
But I would not fucking like digest it though.
Like, okay, the hottest thing I've ever had, and this was years ago, I think I was 17, 18, maybe 19. My mom bought me hot wings from this new place, right? And she's like, I started eating them. And like the first one was like, oh, this one's really fucking hot. It's good. By the third one, like I had the sweat ring around my collar. I was fucking just pouring sweat, and I was like, I couldn't close my mouth. It hurt to close my mouth. It hurt having my mouth closed because I had to constantly just to try to get cool air into my mouth. And I was like, what kind of wings are these? She's like, I don't know. They were called suicide wings. Dude, I like, but like the first bite into the fourth one, I could feel my stomach just being like, don't stop right now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't finish them. They were just impossibly hot. And I went back to them an hour later and I finished that fourth one. And I was like, nope. But I kind of wish I finished them because they were good though. I wouldn't have been able to. Even if I forced myself, I would have like shit myself to death or thrown up or something. Yeah. But I can. Because
I mean, like it ends up making like overproducing a lot of fucking acid in your stomach, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'll start burning fucking holes in your gut.
Yeah, you start doing that shit. So it's like it's fucking crazy. I mean, to me, look, there's definitely a certain kind of like you have to be a certain kind of like masochist to want to like eat spicy food. There's no denying that. But that's kind of like the thing, because like, look, there are some foods that are spicy just for the sake of being spicy, where they just fucking unload all of the fucking hot into it and they really don't add any flavor to it. And there's foods where like there's a nice blend of fucking both flavor and fucking heat that comes from the spices that they end up using in there, you know? So like when there's a good balance of both heat and fucking flavor, if it tastes really good, but it's fucking spicy as fuck, I mean, you just can't stop. You get me?
That's the thing. You need that balance.
Yeah, you need that balance.
Because with as bad as those wings were in terms of like spice, it still tasted good.
Yeah.
I've had shit where all I taste is the chili, and I'm like, if that was the case, I would just drink this.
Yeah.
Like I can't taste the food. There's no point to it, you know, and it just ruins the experience. Shit can be almost as hot as you can get it, but as long as it's not like overwhelming everything else, it should be fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it the salsa is meant to enhance, not be the main character.
Yeah.
You know
exactly,
what I mean?
exactly. Because I mean, like the cooked meat already has its flavors. It has its fucking like seasonings already on it. So like you're adding everything else to complement the.
And then you throw, the cebolla, the cilantro, or whatever else you're gonna fucking put on it. You know, so it's like
exactly. I don't know. To me, I feel like this guy was just trying to look for a
easy
payout,
easy
money. I don't think he. And like the comments that he made on that article about him trying to make things better and stuff like that. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. You just wanted an easy payout. And I'm glad that the fucking judge was like, nah, fuck you. This is bullshit. Because I mean, it's food, dude. Food, like you have to have some sort of, I feel like you have to have some sort of general sense of like understanding that this food is going to, like in any food venture, you could potentially pick up something that's spicy or anything of that sort.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah,
it's not like he got sick off of undercooked food or bad meat
exactly.
or anything. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
But I mean, the thing where he says about like his fucking having sores and stuff like that, it just makes me wonder if he maybe had an allergic reaction to something in there, or if he's just exaggerating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could even be something as simple as, like I said, he may not have ever experienced a salsa like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but that's.
Or did he burn himself with the fucking thing, like with the hot food to experience?
Yeah.
Because like, there's no way a salsa would have had like.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Getting sores from a salsa? Maybe someone with herpes dipped their finger into that salsa and it transferred it.
And it transferred it from there. Maybe.
But no, that doesn't work because the salsa was so spicy it would have killed the virus. I don't know.
I legitimately don't know. Like it just feels like.
I just know. What's the name of this taco place?
What is it? Los Tacos Número Uno, I think.
Okay, because if I ever go to New York again,
yeah, Los Tacos Número Uno in Times Square,
and I'll be sure to try their green salsa.
Yeah, definitely try their green salsa and let me know, because quite frankly, like,
and I'll be the opposite of the German guy. If I don't shit myself from the heat,
I'm
going to sue them
for
having clean underwear.
Imagine that's the suit that you end up going for.
Your Honor, as a Hispanic, I judge all salsas by how much I shit my pants. And seeing as how my underwear are clean, I expect a full refund of $10.50, please.
$10.50, Jesus Christ! Can you imagine? Oh God. I think we could end it here. It's
I'm done with that.
An hour and 40 something minutes, maybe a little bit less. But did you want to plug in anything?
I don't think so. I don't have anything to plug in. I'm on my, aside from the podcast Twitter, I'm on Twitter Strike.
You're on Twitter Strike? Okay.
I haven't been on it, and it's actually kind of nice, dude.
You know what? Before I go into the whole fucking thing, one of the things that I've noticed, because obviously I go through the Twitter on for this podcast, but also I followed like specific like what you call it things to ensure that at least the feed that I'm getting is just basically more news than anything else. So like I follow IGN, I followed like fucking New York Post, I followed all these other fucking, even the fucking like Fox News, just because I want to make sure that I get all of this, like, you know, from all sources, you know, kind of thing. And Twitter on the app at least will give you notifications of like things that should capture your attention. And I started getting a bunch of fucking like at the start of this fucking what you call it, the war on Iran. I was getting a bunch of like notifications like, oh, the fucking Prime Minister Netanyahu has been killed, you know, and then like fucking a week later, Prime Netanyahu has been killed. I'm like, is he dead or is he not? Because like there's a lot of fucking like there's a bunch of fucking Twitter accounts that end up fucking like just kind of like reporting breaking news, and it's like, and it's not an official account, so I'm just kind of like, I need this shit to stop. Like
that's why I gave up on it.
I don't fucking need this bullshit. I'm like, if so, like what I end up doing is just like I look at the fucking thing, I search it up online. If no credible source has made it any fucking like thing, then it's like fuck it, it's over, it's done. I'm not gonna give it the attention that it's asking for.
Like my new method is because I haven't really been on I haven't been on Twitter in a minute, and I haven't really been on Instagram either. Like because I'm not even very active in our group chat anymore. Like, and most of the shit I do send now is from fucking Reddit.
Right.
So that's how I do shit. Like I watch the videos I need to watch for in preparation for potential topics for the podcast and stuff on YouTube, and I watch certain things and a certain amount so it doesn't overwhelm my algorithm. And I kind of do the same thing with Reddit, where like if I see something, if there's a post from like CNN or Fox News or something, it's generally kind of something that, okay, I'll look into this, and I end up sending you the link or whatever.
Right.
That's how I get my shit. I can't rely on Twitter anymore because the reasons you said, and a lot of it is just fucking bullshit. Same thing with Instagram and stuff. So I just kind of cut I still have them, but I just kind of cut them out in terms of, for me, they're just entertainment now.
Yeah, right.
And so it's just, and the good thing about Reddit is, well, potentially good thing is a lot of times people in the comments will be like, here's a summary of what happened, or this article's bullshit, don't fucking bother with it. You know what I mean? So I'll find something that looks interesting, look at the comments to see if it's like kind of worth researching, or if it's just clickbait bullshit or not. And there's subreddits for that shit too. You know what I mean? Like to help avoid all that shit.
Right.
It's getting kind of, it ebbs and flows where it gets bad and it gets better, but that's all I got in terms of like some sort of reliability.
Right. Yeah, no, yeah. I totally get that. But yeah, this is the end of it. You can find me on Twitch, Chubby Chaser Pro. I haven't really been streaming much lately. This heat has been kind of fucking me over. But I am still posting content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Just look up Chubby Chaser Pro. If you ever want to know whenever I'm about to go online, on Twitter and Blue Sky, just look up Chubby Chaser Pro and you should be able to find me. Also, currently we still don't have an email. I'm looking to find a way how we can procure one without having to pay money.
We can't just make a Gmail?
No, I can, but then it's just like another account that I would need to, you get me? Like it's not like manage and stuff like that. So I'm trying to avoid that. But if you want to make a comment or a suggestion or anything of that sort, you can tag us on Twitter.
It's IB2W Pod, at IB2W Pod.
Yeah, on Twitter. Just follow us and add us if you want to make a comment, or if you have any questions, you might get an answer. I can't make any promises.
I'm bad at that. You know, from the other podcast, I'll be the first to fucking tell you to hit us up and interact, but I'm the last person to fucking realize when it happens.
But that is all for today. I hope you guys have a good day or good night wherever you're at, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Later, everyone.
You guys have a good one. Intro-outro song is Wah Game Loop by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0/.